Yo, what is going on, Cover One crew? Hope everybody is good. Welcome back to the show. Today we're diving back into that lab because the training camp has kicked off and we are seeing a boatload of highlights, seeing how these players are performing in shorts so far in camp, and it is exciting. Today we're talking Bo Nix, man, on the scouting report for these Denver Broncos, former Auburn product and a Oregon Duck product. How's he going to be? I mean, he was drafted in the NFL draft maybe a little higher than some had thought, but I got a good heaping of pros, cons, and a grade score. Tell you where I sit on a Bo Nix. Let's roll. When you're talking about somebody like a Bo Nix, you got to understand, I think there's no real in-between on the guy. I think you either love him or you don't like him. That's basically it on what we see with this man right now. Coming from the Oregon Ducks, definitely showcased the fact of what he could potentially be if given the right tutelage in the NFL. We know that Coach Payton has, gushed over the potential of him, but we could say, was it a reach in the NFL draft? It is highly likely. We'll talk about the team that drafted him. Round 1, pick 12, those Denver Broncos. And I mean, letting Russell Wilson ride to those Pittsburgh Steelers, they needed a backup plan. They went and then got themselves a Zach Wilson from those New York Jets. They had Jarrett Stidham, and then now they draft themselves a Bo Nix. So this quarterback room for you Broncos fans doesn't look overly exciting at this point. Is there going to be a lot more heartache than there is going to be joy and pleasure this season? Potentially. And I mean, that's unfortunate, but because you guys are kind of in that reset mode, how are we going to move forward? What's our quarterback room going to look like? Zach Wilson is a first rounder as well. So you got 2 first round commodities thinking, can we at least turn one of these guys out to be something in the NFL? Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy's gone. Okay. Now you have to, Cortland Sutton's basically your guy. Hearing rumors that Javonte Williams might be a camp casualty and be cut and sent free because they got guys like Audric Estime in the backfield in the waiting, and I heard they like him a lot. So it's an interesting dynamic in what we're seeing from a Bo Nix. So far in training camp, he has not looked sharp. He's missing throws. He's missing reads. Footwork and mechanics don't look great. So you got to understand, it is something of a work in progress, even though he is on the higher end of games played. When we talk about him statistically speaking on the measurables, 6'2", 214, he is 24 years of age on the older trend, spent a lot of time in college football, 61 contests, 66.4 on the completion percentage, a nice 15,000 yards. So if you watched Bo Nix in college at all, they were able to produce a heaping of stats and points with these Ducks. 113 touchdowns to only 26 interceptions. So your ratio is very strong, which is why a lot of people are saying, well, he moved to the Ducks, which was good, moved out of the SEC, which was not necessarily good. But, I mean, the Auburn, it wasn't necessarily the right situation for him. There was a lot of, hope and praise that he was going to be the next coming type of quarterback. Just didn't pan out. He did play guys like, or teams like Alabama extremely strong when he was with the Tigers. But now when he comes to the Ducks, it just opened up everything that much more. Very much spread offense, high octane, speed, timing offenses. Definitely gave him the uplift when it came to finding his wide receivers and throwing the football on point and getting a lot of these numbers up. 6'2", 214. He's a put-together specimen, so let's talk about those pros. And the size is just fine. I am not one of these guys going to dog him. I think the frame is better than the height. You would have liked to have seen 6'3", 6'4", but 6'2" is fine. 214, he is put together, can take some punishment. So for me, the size, when people knock him, I don't foresee this being a big problem in the NFL. Like I said, couple inches, fine. You would have liked to have seen it, but to me, size is just fine. Experience. So this is a big positive for a Bo Nix. 61 games played. So is it overplayed or is it experienced? I'm going to go with experienced, man. Transfer to these Ducks, like I said, was saved his career, basically. Where at Auburn, he threw for 7,250 yards, 39 TDs, and 16 interceptions in those 3 years. In the 2 years with the Ducks, he threw for 8,101 yards, 74 TDs, and only 10 interceptions. So you saw in the 2-year span what he was able to do. Showcase the fact that he could learn from a different system and a system that was, promotive of his skill sets to get the most out of his play, and he definitely showcased what he could do with these Ducks. He is a true boomer bust prospect at this point. I'm only putting it here more as a statement than a pro. But we got to understand, he could boom in a very big way, but he could also bust in a very big way. So it's a problem that you got to say, how is he going to progress in the NFL? Being with somebody like Coach Payton, you got to believe he's going to get the best out of him. You got to believe, okay, he had a Drew Brees. He had to have learned something to help a quarterback learn and grow. So I'm not out on a Bo Nix whatsoever. I think there is good potential, good upside, and if they build it properly with this offense, Bo Nix could be something very good and special. But if he doesn't learn, they don't coach him up properly, it could be a very big problem. Arm talent is solid, okay? I'm not going to say it's elite because it's not. I think he can get it down the field with the best of them. He does have a lot of very good traits when it comes to it. Pass velocity, very good, man. Finds the speed with timing and can absolutely rifle that football in. But the arm talent, to me, can get it down the field. It is a little bit on the weaker trend when you're talking deep ball power, strength, when we're talking about guys like Jaden Daniels and Drake May from this draft class, even somebody like a Spencer Rattler who can get it down the field. You want to say he's kind of more to the Spencer Rattler arm than he is to the Jaden Daniels Drake May arm. So you got to take that for what it is. I still believe he can get it down the field relatively easily when we saw guys like Troy Franklin, who's got good wheels, good speed, and Bo Nix was able to hit him many times in stride downfield. So I do think that it is, probably more so the timing aspect for when these guys are going deep, where he is able to find, put the ball on the rope and get these guys down the field. I think that one is very good for him as well. And like I'm saying, throws those ropes over the middle. It is a great toss for him over those linebackers. Very tough throw you want to see him make, and he does make it with some levels of consistency. Do like that about him as well. And I mean, again, the speed and timing. So this offense is predicated upon that speed and timing. So when he does find his wide receivers, he's got to get it out very quickly. Hence why I'm saying the pass velocity is definitely there for a Bo Nix. He's more comfortable as a timing passer, in my opinion. Can he grow out of this? Absolutely. Will they set up this Denver Broncos offense to be a timing offense like that? Maybe. And I think that would be a promotive aspect of what you need to do for a Bo Nix. But I do think that he is smart enough. He understands where he has to be, and he's got to, at least elevate his game to different levels to progress the field if your first read is not there and make the play. So we will see about that. But as we said today, it's not a knock to be a timing passer, but I mean, he does excel in this sense. When he knows where his read is going, he hits it, and then they're off to the races. So that's why I'm putting that down here as a pro. Accuracy definitely improved over those last 2 years, 77.6%, where he was under 70% with Auburn in those 3 seasons. So you got to see anywhere you see improvement, progression in someone's game, you got to give it a highlight because he is doing well in that sense. He's got good touch on the ball. I mean, deep ball leads his wide receivers well, like I'm saying. Troy Franklin's got wheels for days, and you see him not even break stride and how many passes that Bo Nix is delivering to this man. So again, it comes with that timing. 3-step drop, bam, get it out because he's open on the speed. So we will see. I do like his touch as well. He has the mechanic positives where he can, pull something off the football, put a little bit more touch on it, and we have seen it many times with both Auburn and those Ducks. Good mobility. He can get out of the pocket, he can scramble, and he can make plays with his legs as well. Is he going to be reliant on that in the pros? Probably not. I think he's more suited to be the pocket guy, but he's definitely not a statue whatsoever. But for some cons, because everybody's got them, including a Bo Nix, and a lot of this is mechanical, to suggest it needs improvement. Poor footwork at times, and we're seeing it already in camp, man. He's throwing off his back foot. He's not following through because he's not stepping up into his throws. He has to learn how to do the footwork that much better, and this is coachable traits. They will get him on the same page. They will make him understand where he needs to go. Sidesteps in the pocket, I don't dislike. I think he's able to navigate the pocket that way decently, but the back, foot, he's trying to trust that arm too much when you don't have necessarily the full-on cannon like you're looking for, the elite arm talent. It is going to duck out there in the open field, and your pass is going to die in midair. So, I mean, you got to get the mechanics properly. Back foot throws, step up into your pocket that much more. He needs more better pocket navigation overall, and that goes into the step-ups. I don't hate his side steps. I don't hate the fact that he can, scramble out and, evade would-be sack tacklers. But I mean, overall, he just needs to be better suited to understand what his pocket is doing, better pocket navigation, step up, side steps. Everything needs to be on point at that, in that sense, I should say. Progression, I mean, it can have a hitch at times, and it breaks down when the timing isn't there. So you got to understand, we see this how many times. He's struggling with progressions. We saw it at the Senior Bowl. His Senior Bowl was not good. I'm not going to sugarcoat it whatsoever. It wasn't great, but it was not good. He did not look good against the top-end competition at the Senior Bowl. But, I mean, we're already seeing it, like I said, here in training camp. He's missing throws, throwing interceptions, throwing into tight windows, ducks that are falling down. We've seen many of these from Bo Nix already. And, I mean, okay, if your timing route is, stumped, you have to be able to find somebody else and be comfortable throwing those footballs. He can force passes when he's uncomfortable. And this is kind of the MO you're seeing from a Bo Nix at this point as well. Get pressure on the young man. Timing throws are off. It's very similar to everything I'm saying about his game right now. He's not stepping up into that pocket, trying to throw off his back foot, and then the pass either knocked down or intercepted. He needs to fix this big time, and I think, his mechanics can fail him from time to time. The overthrows, the short arm, the miss, the easy balls to the sideline. It's just one of these things you're hoping that he's just going to figure out eventually because he's playing against better competition. He is not a terrible quarterback. These are things he's got to round out in his game. 61 games of experience. I mean, he will figure it out because he's got athletic ability and he knows how to throw the football. But, I mean, in the NFL, it's a different game, and you're going to see if you got overthrows, underthrows, short arms, you're going to see a lot of passes intercepted or knocked down. Hip torque mechanics need refinement. Do a little bit more of the, flip your hips and get that ball out extremely fast. Excuse me, we got to see this a little bit more, and I think this also aids in the footwork. Once he gets his footwork going, his hip torque is going to be that much better. Do the full round off and get your follow through. We will see a much better Bo Nix if he does figure this out. So far, I have not seen it in camp, but we are only, a week in? So, I mean, let him get his first preseason action, and then we'll start talking about what Bo Nix could potentially be. I do like him, but he's got a lot of things to work out, man. High percentage of throws behind the line of scrimmage or short. I believe it was in like the 45% percentile of short throws or behind the line of scrimmage, which did inflate his stats as well because he had speed demons on the field at Oregon with the Ducks. So how is it going to fare here with these Denver Broncos? Yes, they got playmakers on the field. Yes, they have wide receivers that can help him out and make him look good. But if he's not going to figure this out, I mean, if he loses out to a Zach Wilson, you're going to see a lot of people screaming, why the hell did we take him at pick number 12 in the NFL draft? It is a big concern. But, I mean, for grading purposes, everyone gets a grade score like you guys know. And Bo Nix, I'm a fan of. I'm just not over the moon on him. I think there is potential, but like I said, he could be something of an enigma, whether either you love him or you don't like him, and we'll see where he is. He probably was overdrafted. 74.8% is my grade score for a Bo Nix, so he slots in on the lower end for me. There was a lot of things I felt like he needs to work out, and I mean, is his ceiling higher than somebody like a Spencer Rattler? Sure, we can even say that. Can he match these guys like a Penix or J.J. McCarthy? I don't know. I really don't. I think that those guys I would absolutely take over somebody like a Bo Nix, and if I'm wrong on everything I'm saying here and he just turns out to be a great NFLer, I'll eat my words, man. But as we sit today, what I see on film, what he's given us on film in those 61 games, I mean, it is what it is. 74.8 is not a bad grade score, but I think there's too much refinement for me to boast him up my board. So there you have that is Bo Nix, quarterback now for these Denver Broncos. How's he going to fare? Is he going to be one of these guys that can be trusted upon as the franchise passer? And I mean, Coach Payton is definitely stamping his flag on this one. I mean, we'll see if Zach Wilson can beat him out. If he does, we're going to see a lot of conversation on why the hell they drafted a Bo Nix. There is no question. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts. What do you guys think of Bo Nix? You in, you out, man? Throw it in the comments. We can definitely talk it out, but we'll see you next time. I am out.